You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into another edition of the Locked On Rays podcast. And today, Ulises, we are joined by a very special guest, and that is one Kyle Manzardo, who is one of the fastest rising prospects in the Rays organization and all of baseball. In fact, man, there's been so much talk about him. Kyle, not to put any pressure on you, but a listener reached out or commented on one of our YouTube videos saying that you are this generation's Lance Berkman. So I don't know if that adds any challenges to you, but as you can see, there's a lot of people talking about you. How's that feel?
It feels good. I try not to pay too much attention to it. Kind of rather just focus on my routines and what I'm trying to get better at, but it definitely feels good.
It obviously it feels good. How do you said you don't try to pay too much attention to it. So you're aware that it's happening. Is it friends, family that are keeping you grounded or sending you clips or how do you maintain a clear, head with all that's going around?
I don't know. My grandpa is he's like super active on Twitter and just on the internet in general. So whenever like a new list or article or something comes out, he's always like the first one to reach out to me. Because I mean, he's seeing most of the stuff before I see it. So he's kind of like my main news source.
I'm telling you, the older generation, I don't know how old your grandfather is, Kyle, but like I see like my parents are probably on social media more than I am. Like I see like 75-year-olds with TikTok. It's kind of unbelievable what's happening here. I guess they have a lot of time on their hands once they're retired and so forth. But getting to brass tacks here a little bit, Kyle, how's your off season been going? What have you been up to the last couple months?
It's been good. So for about the last month, we did a mini camp in Florida, and then I went from there to Arizona so I could get some field work in, because where I'm at, I'm in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. It's like the dead of winter, or not really anymore. It's starting to warm up now, but you can't really go outside and do any baseball activity at all because all the fields are either covered in snow or soaked, or it's just too cold. So I've been inside doing all my work whenever I'm at home. And then it was nice these last month or so where I was kind of in some nicer weather.
Yeah, you mentioned Florida and then Arizona. Just first off, what did you do down in Florida? I assume it was part of a Rays program deal down there?
Yeah, it was just a mini camp type of thing. So we went, it was almost like a modified spring training type camp where it's like except it's just like the position players there for when I was there. So you're just going through like a full day's routine minus the games, which is good. And it's almost like or at least the way I use it is to kind of like let myself know like, okay, it's time to really, really start going, and getting ready for spring.
And then you mentioned Arizona. Was that something where the Rays referred you to a facility in Arizona, or do you have some sort of contacts from college ball or your agents that, why Arizona of all places as well?
So I played with Alika Williams all year. He's one of my good friends. And then my agent also lives in the valley there. So it was funny. I was talking to Alika about going there. He said, yeah, you should totally go there. I'm doing baseball stuff here and lifting here. Then I talked to my agent, and he said that he recommends the same place that he was lifting, or that Alika was lifting at. So we kind of just planned out that whole thing and just made it happen, I guess.
Oh, so this was just strictly weightlifting, not actual baseball activities, just kind of
No, it was baseball stuff too.
Okay.
We would be able to get on the fields and stuff, and got a couple live at bats.
Okay.
But it was more the training there was more similar to like almost like a spring training day. I mean, it's tough to replicate that, but
Yeah.
it was more in line because at least I was outside.
Gotcha. Well, before we get too far in, I do want to say congratulations for being named the Rays top minor league player for the 2022 season, as that's pretty incredible. I know that some people don't have the numbers in front of them, so for them, I will tell them what you compiled between high class A and double A. You had a 327 average, 22 bombs, 81 RBIs, a 1043 OPS in 93 games. And this is what I loved, Kevin. 59 walks to 65 strikeouts. I mean, just remarkable. So I want to tell you, was there a specific adjustment, either mentally or physically, that allowed you to be that productive throughout the 2022 season?
The main thing I'd say would be, I mean, it's just such a different type of schedule to college ball. So, just putting myself in a spot where I could show up to the field every day and try to be the same person and do what I need to do to make sure that my body feels good enough to, obviously go put up good numbers. Shoot, I don't know. There wasn't any crazy adjustments. It was just really difficult to kind of fall into a rhythm once you kind of go from playing 4 games a week in college to like a game every day for 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, we've heard that a lot. And just for you personally, what was the bigger adjustment for you? Was it going from college right into pro ball or from high A to double A?
Probably college to pro ball, I would say, just because by the time I had went from high A to double A, I was just in such a good rhythm at the plate. And it was kind of right in the middle of the season. I had been hot for a while. So when I went to double A, I couldn't think of a better time where that move could have happened, just for me personally. Whereas when I got drafted, I was, just at home for like 2 months after the college season. Then it's like you show up to Florida, get ready to go, and now those complex schedules are tough. They're like you're up super early. You're playing games in Florida in the middle of the summer. I had never experienced like that type of heat. So that was a super difficult adjustment for me personally.
Yeah.
Did you get to meet the lovely insects called love bugs by any chance?
Love bugs.
Yes.
I don't think so.
No. Okay. It's like these two little. How would you characterize them, Kevin? Like 2 bugs that are like tied to their bums, basically, and that's why they're called love bugs.
Basically,
wow.
Terrible invention that came out, or I guess a mistake that came out of the University of Florida that will ruin the front of your car. I think that's more of a later into the. Well, Florida doesn't really have fall, but I feel like that's. I don't know if
July,
Kyle,
August.
when were you in the complex league? Like, what was your time frame there?
I was there 2021 from, I want to say, the end of July through like middle September.
Okay.
Maybe. I'm not sure exactly.
And you were driving a car, I presume?
Yeah.
What? No car.
Oh, then maybe that's why. Maybe that's why you didn't notice them, because they will ruin the front of your car. But
100%, 100%. I think in 2023, everybody just talks about either when they watch baseball, it's going to be a strikeout, a home run, a walk. The 3 true outcome baseball that can be at times a bit boring. But when we look at your profile, you made contact about 80%, which is an excellent rate. How early did you start seeing these contact rates become a part of your game? Have you always been a high contact guy, or did something change somewhere where you were like, no, this is the kind of hitter that I am. I feel more comfortable doing this and just trying to be a bopper?
Yeah, so I was always a contact guy growing up. I would say my freshman year of college was the first time that I kind of struggled a little bit to make good contact consistently. So after that, I was a lot more conscious of it, especially, I don't know. I was always a guy that, like, I feel embarrassed when I strike out. So sometimes I think, like, with 2 strikes, I'll just, like, throw the bat at it and make not a great swing to avoid striking out. So yeah, I've always kind of tried as much as I can not to strike out, and then I think in doing that, the plate discipline really started to improve.
This year, the only app you need at your Super Bowl party is FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Download FanDuel now so you can bet Super Bowl 57 with a no-sweat first bet. You'll get up to $3,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. FanDuel lets you bet on everything from the money line to point spreads to who will score a touchdown. The FanDuel Sportsbook app is safe, secure, and easy to use. Best of all, you can get paid for your winnings instantly. So join FanDuel today at FanDuel.com/lockedon to claim your no-sweat first bet on Super Bowl 57. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon, LOCKEDON. You can make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
I would say like junior year of college.
And so, okay, so junior year of college, okay, you start getting that. How do you keep that up? Because once you unlock that, you have to stay with it. So are there different exercises, eye hand control, video that you watch, more scouting that you need to do for pitchers? Like, what do you do to keep that contact rate at such an excellent level?
I'm not sure. I don't really do anything crazy. Well, my swing is kind of, I would say, like, designed to, get consistent contact on the barrel. Mm-hmm. It's also why I don't have any, crazy exit velocities.
Right.
Because I'm putting the way it's a give and take. That's like all hitting is. You're always given something to take something whenever any adjustment you make ever. So I did away with a leg kick after my freshman year of college and started going to the front toe early, basically just to try to be on time as often as possible. And then I kind of realized in doing that I was still strong enough to, like, hit some extra base hits, and I'm also, able to make good contact more often. So it was really that. I think that change was, like, the most crucial to me in my time playing baseball.
And that was in college, you said?
Yep. Yeah, that was fall of my sophomore year.
Okay. And so you also mentioned that's 2 strike. You just kind of hack at it and try to get the ball in play. So you are doing a 2 strike approach. Is there some choking involved there, or just kind of just, look, let me just put the bat to the ball?
Yeah. So I kind of made my 2 strike approach the same time I started going to the toe my sophomore year of college. And my swing now used to be my 2 strike approach. And I kind of had, because I used to have a leg kick, sort of, did away with that. And I started doing just like more of a traditional small stride. And then with 2 strikes, I'd go to the toe. Okay. And then I realized basically what I just said. I'm able to be on time more, and I can still hit some extra base hits when I'm just going to the toe. So I was just like, I'll just hit like that all the time. So I don't know. I think in a way my 0-0 swing is still kind of a 2 strike swing.
Okay.
Now, as far as that change in approach came about, was that something that your coaches at Washington State guided you through? Was it a private coach? Was it something that you sort of wanted to do on your own? How did that all come together?
Mainly, yeah, Brian Green at Washington State, head coach. He kind of came in and he was preaching that big was 2 strike approach. I was like, okay, I'll try this. He's like had a bunch of clips and different things that he was showing, like what different guys are doing. So I just started messing around with that, and it just kind of stuck.
Do you remember who some of those guys were, those clips of players that he showed you? I didn't know if it was like a Michael Brantley or whoever it may be.
I want to say AJ Reed was probably one of them.
Okay.
He played at Kentucky. I think he won the Triple Crown. He was one of the guys that he had coached in the past. I think there was one where it was like, man, I don't remember exactly who the guys were. I know Bo Bichette was one too, where with 2 strikes he goes to his front toe pretty early.
Right.
But I don't remember exactly. There's a bunch of guys.
And let's say you're introduced, hey, we're going to work on this 2-strike approach. What's that timeline for you, Kyle, where, okay, I'm introduced to this new novel thing, and then now where I feel comfortable? How long is that process?
It was kind of that whole fall where it was uncomfortable, but I was still seeing some results, so I wasn't ready to abandon it. And then over the winter that year, I got just really comfortable doing it, like almost to the point where, like, now it's like it feels like a crutch. Like I don't think it would take a lot of work for me to be able to do like a leg kick or something like that again.
Gotcha. We're going back in time. I know we're talking college, but I want to go even further back.
Okay.
What's your earliest baseball memory that you ever have? Like, what is it? Is it watching a game on TV? Is it T-ball? What is it?
Yeah, earliest baseball memory. I would probably go to in my backyard. I used to have one of those short. Is my screen frozen again?
No, you're good.
You sound good on our end, and you look good.
Yeah.
You're fine. Yeah.
My screen's frozen on mine. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I just had one of those little wiffle ball bats with the massive barrels.
Nice.
And my dad was coaching at North Idaho College at the time. He was the head coach there whenever they had a program. And he would come back from practice and we would go like into the backyard and he'd flip me wiffle balls and I'd try to hit him into the neighbor's yard over the fence.
Did you ever do
that? Yeah, whenever I started doing that, we had to like start going to the park and stuff. Because then he'd have to, hop over the fence. Kind of frowned. I mean, we have cool neighbors all around. So it wasn't ever a huge deal, but he kind of felt bad doing it, so we started going to the park.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, your dad, as coaching college and then high school as well, I imagine a pretty big influence on your baseball career and learning fundamentals and skills. Just can you speak to what he means to you and you being able to establish yourself?
Yeah. Like I could tell you without a doubt, I don't think I wouldn't be playing anymore if not for him. I don't know if I ever even would have started playing. But he's kind of, in a way, coached me the whole way through, always been supportive. He throws me BP every day, even now. He'll take a break from teaching or whatever he's got going on that day and come throw BP and hit grounders. So I don't have enough good things to say about either of my parents.
And during the season, how does that relationship involve with stats? Is there any stat talk between you and dad, or does he keep it kind of like, hey, did you have a good day? Awesome. How is that?
Yeah. I mean, he's, I don't even really know how to, he's kind of past like the point where he's like calling to coach me up or anything now. He's like, and I think he's embraced, he's more of a spectator now, where him and my grandpa both, they just like watching the games. And, if I fall into a little scuffle, he'll call and ask me, what I'm feeling or how I'm feeling, because he obviously knows like some of the cues and stuff that might be able to get me back on track. But he just enjoys watching now.
And you mentioned that you might not have played baseball or you would have quit baseball if not for him.
Yeah. I mean, you never know.
Yeah. Why was that? Was that some other sport that you had taken a liking to, or?
No, he was just the guy that taught me, how to play. and it's the type of sport where if you don't have some supports, like you don't play baseball in North Idaho, like out on your own. You know, the high school kids, they won't start their season till like mid-March. They'll get like 20 games in the high school season and then go play like Legion or travel ball in the summer. But it's not like Arizona where you can just like
all
go
year
play baseball all year. You know, it's really difficult to do it without, you know, some type of support system like that.
Yeah, and that's interesting because I was going to, you know, coming from North Idaho, what are kids mainly playing? Is it football first, then basketball, then I don't know, hockey? Like where is baseball in the list of popularity, you know, among your friends and peer groups and just growing up?
Yeah, I mean, football and basketball are popular sports everywhere. Like I would say it's the popular spring sport, but it's really tough to get good at something when in a place where you can't, you know, maximize the fields and everything that other people in other places are able to. It's difficult. You have to get creative. You got to want it really bad to make it from these cold weather states.
And you certainly have shown that so far. So I did do some digging, and it's not that baseball was your only sport in high school. You also played a little bit of basketball. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And how was that for you? Was it ever a decision of which one am I going to take, basketball or baseball? Or was it just, I'm doing basketball because I'm kind of good, but it's just another hobby? Like, what was that relationship with both sports in high school for you?
Yeah, I wasn't really any good at basketball. I just like playing it. I played it my whole life, so I liked playing it in the winter time. All my friends played too, and it was just fun. It's like a different type of competing almost. It's such a different game from baseball.
What was your position? Were you a small forward, shooting guard?
I was the 6 foot power forward.
There we go. Yeah.
I'd play tough defense and try to grab as many boards as I could. And usually get some steals, sprint down the floor, and just miss a fast break layup. That was like my specialty.
Yeah. You get a lot of those moments in high school for sure.
If you're looking for a delicious treat, but you don't want all of the fat and calories, then you have to try a Built Bar. You might ask yourself, what makes Built Bar so good? Well, for starters, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. That's right, real chocolate in every single Built Bar, but they're also healthy. They only have 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, with a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't need to wait around to get a box. You can get yourself a box at either Walmart or Sam's Club. You don't have to wait around for your order from built.com. So today you can head to either your nearest Walmart today or Sam's Club, and you grab yourself a 4-bar box of cookies and cream or a 13-bar box with brownie batter. You make that choice. And when you make that choice, you're going to get something that's healthy and delicious, and that is called Built Bar.
But going back to baseball a little bit, as you kind of went through and playing little league and then high school, were there certain major leaguers that you idolized or that you really enjoyed watching? Just if there were any that you're like, man, I'd like to be like this guy one day.
Yeah. So most of my dad's side of the family is from Michigan, Flint specifically. So he grew up going to all the Tigers games and stuff. So I kind of grew up kind of a Tigers fan. So I really liked watching Miguel Cabrera hit and play. And I was kind of growing up right when he was really doing it, Triple Crown winner and stuff. So he was definitely probably my favorite player growing up. Then there's a bunch of guys. Robinson Cano was really fun to watch hit back then. I don't know. Nowadays, those are kind of the big two for me.
Yeah. Well, you give a smile to Ulises' face because he is a huge Miguel Cabrera fan. They're both from Venezuela, so that's like the hero
He's
there.
the man.
Yeah. So you spoke to Kevin likes to say that I give some players the Venezuelan bump. So I'm gonna give you the Venezuelan bump by just putting Miggy's name on the board here. I always say this with prospects that we talk about. I love the videos of when players get called up to the majors. I really enjoy those videos, but I also enjoy the stories of them being drafted. Can you kind of walk us through that draft day? Who you were with, who was surrounding you, how did you expect this call to be? We have heard some Rays prospects that we've had on the show that they didn't even know that the Rays were in on them until like 48 hours or when they actually got picked. So can you walk us through all of that and if you knew about the Rays hunting you down for the draft?
Yeah. So, I mean, I basically had a Zoom meeting with the Rays like 2 days before the draft. It was like pretty last minute. But they were not the team that I thought was going to pick me. But I don't know. I was either going to go like middle of the third round or like third to fourth round, or I was going to get pushed up because there was like 6 teams, like between picks like 60 and like 72 or whatever. That were like kind of scattered in there that all seemed interested or whatever. So I thought maybe I could get lucky and get picked up there. If not, I should go at some point in the third or fourth round. So what even did happen? I mean, I was just at my house with all my friends and families in the area. Woke up, I think probably like 5 minutes before the draft started that day, cruised downstairs, grabbed a cup of coffee, sat down, started watching it. And then like 10 minutes into it, my agent called me. He said that another team had offered this. What do you think? I said, let's hold off. And then, hung up with him, and then he calls me straight back and he's like, oh, hey, the Rays want you right after the Padres wanted you. Would you take this? And I was like, sure, cool, let's get it done. Get out, quick day. And then I hung up with Randy, my agent, and the Rays were already on the clock, and then the pick went in like 5 seconds later.
Wow.
And did you know anything about the organization at that point? Had you, really besides the basics? I mean, I know you mentioned you had grown up following the Tigers and you being more on the West Coast. I don't know how much you had really had an understanding of the way the Rays operate and so forth.
No, not at all. Yeah, the Rays I mean, it's kind of a weird team for me. It's like the second furthest team from where I live other than Miami.
Yeah.
So it was never like a team that like I, like little kid in the backyard, like, oh, here comes Kyle Manzardo with the Rays. It was never that for me, but I'm happy to be here. I love the organization.
And who from the Rays called you first? Who did you speak to first after being drafted?
James Bonacci, the area scout.
Okay. And did he tell you anything about, hey, this is why, this is what we love about your skill set, we think you can be a successful big leaguer?
I honestly don't really remember.
Yeah. It was a blur.
Yeah, it was a blur. I mean, I was getting so many calls and stuff that day.
True.
News came to the house, all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. So that whole was just crazy.
And how fast did you see them in person, the Rays organization? I'm assuming within a month?
Yeah, within a month. I don't know. I always kind of imagine like you get drafted and then you're like on a plane the next day, but it was like a week and a half later, they're like, okay, you're going to come down here in a week. And it was just like, oh, wow. It's like way more convenient than just like getting picked and then you're on a plane to Florida the next day.
Right.
So. And you mentioned you obviously being drafted by the organization and being drafted as high as you were, but you love the organization. What is it that you love about the organization being part of the Rays, just about how they operate and do business?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, at least last year they did just such a great job with like giving us information and stuff on whatever pitchers we were facing that day. Super nice, super easy to use, and I think they do a really, really good job kind of teaching, how all these metrics and all these charts and stuff that they're throwing out there on different pitchers and hitters and stuff like that. Like they're not just like throwing it at you. They're showing you, and then they're explaining it, and then they're asking, or they're answering any questions that you might have. So I don't know. I feel like I have just such a better understanding for kind of all the stuff that goes on.
Is that type of information with the graphs and maybe, different stats that, you might not be familiar with? Is it booklets? Is it like on video? Like what kind of information, how is the information actually being provided to you? Is it like an oral presentation? Like how is that given to you guys?
Yeah, I think they usually just like present it.
Interesting.
Which is cool.
Yeah. And going back a little bit and being drafted, I mean, you've made history in a way, as you were the highest drafted position player from Washington State since Scott Hatteberg. And then there's not many players, as I can recall, that, are drafted or play pro ball that are from Idaho either. So what does it mean to be kind of a select few and rare company and maybe holding a, kind of a mantle for Washington State and Idaho at large?
Yeah, I mean, it feels great. Just trying to keep going, I guess. The best way I could put it. Trying not to feel, too satisfied with anything quite yet.
And then why did you choose Washington State to go to college over some other programs? I didn't know if they were really early on the jump on you as a prospect, or it was the coaching staff, the campus, a combination of it all that really kind of fit to what you were looking for. Just why them over maybe another school or another program?
Yeah. Well, I want to say they offered me summer going into my senior year. So I think when a lot of guys are typically like making their verbal commitments and stuff, maybe a little even late nowadays, but and they gave me a fair offer, one that I could afford, and I wasn't really getting any other offers from anybody. So it was either looking like, well, before that offer, I was thinking like, okay, I'm probably gonna end up at like a junior college. But then they offered me, and love the campus, like the area, Pac-12 school. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me when they gave me an offer that I could afford.
And what was your major during your time in college?
I was in business and marketing.
Gotcha. Okay. Did you enjoy those classes?
Yeah, they were fine. They're all right. I think I'm like three semesters off of graduating, so okay. I definitely want to make sure I knock that out.
Cool. Yeah, no, I think Mason Hour is taking classes as he's going through his professional career right now.
Busy.
So, yeah, so a little challenge for you. Which, by the way, and I don't know if it was something where you just kind of wanted to pick major and it sounded interesting, but have you ever given thought to, if you weren't playing baseball professionally, what you'd be doing as a career, what you'd want to do as a career? Would it be, following in the footsteps of your father of, hey, I'm just going to coach baseball and teach, something along those lines?
I haven't ever really, I put some thought into it. I always figured if baseball didn't work out, then I'd probably just go join the corporate world. But I don't know. It's impossible to say, really.
Yeah. What I like is that baseball's your plan A through Z. Like we're, hoping that it looks like that's the case right now. So I like how that's kind of the main game plan as of right now for you. So, and hopefully after your career is over, you won't have to work.
Yeah. That'd be ideal.
Yeah, exactly.
This year, the only app you need at your Super Bowl party is FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Download FanDuel now so you can bet Super Bowl 57 with a no-sweat first bet. You'll get up to $3,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. FanDuel lets you bet on everything from the money line to point spreads to who will score a touchdown. The FanDuel Sportsbook app is safe, secure, and easy to use. Best of all, you can get paid for your winnings instantly. So join FanDuel today at FanDuel.com/lockedon to claim your no-sweat first bet on Super Bowl 57. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon, LOCKEDON. You can make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Looking ahead to 2023, obviously the big H word has to be said. You want to keep healthy, but what is your main goal to improve in your game this upcoming season?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you said it, because nothing happens unless you're healthy and playing every day. So that first and foremost, but I don't know. I'd like to just kind of build off of whatever I did last year, and make adjustments whenever it's time to make adjustments, and stay coachable, keep getting more and more athletic. Maybe steal a few more bags this year. We'll see.
Ooh, interesting. I like that.
We'll see. But yeah, just basically to build off of what I did last year.
Cool. I do, we have all the numbers and stats possible in 2023 to grade a player. I wasn't able to find a lot of defensive stats though, for minor leaguers. So for those that haven't seen your defensive work, be a scout on Kyle Manzardo. Who is Kyle Manzardo with a glove? What are the aptitudes that he has?
Yeah, I can't think of many picks that I dropped or just like missed this year. So I'm gonna pick it. I'll pick up my teammates when it's time. I think over the course of last season, I got a lot better at kind of getting to some of those balls in the 4-hole that are just like perfectly placed ground balls. I started getting to some of those, which was definitely an improvement from when I was drafted. Yeah, those are the two things.
Yeah.
What about the shift work? Because you're talking about getting to those balls on the 4-hole. Was there a lot of shifting being done in the minor leagues? Because obviously with what's going on in the majors and that restriction on the shifting, obviously that's going to be a little bit of a different brand of baseball that we've seen for the last decade or so. So did that influence your defensive ability whatsoever? The amount of shift, the lack of shift for last year?
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure that rule was live in the minors last year.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it made those ground balls I was pulling towards the 4-hole, they were getting through a little bit better than I was used to. But defensively, yeah, I mean, it kind of freed me up a little bit, because at first base, like, you never want to, get caught in between, like, going for a ground ball in the 4-hole and like getting over. So it made me kind of pay more attention to wherever my second baseman was at, because, he couldn't do any extreme shifts. So if he was, like playing more up the middle but not quite shifted, then I would kind of let myself know, like, I can go after these balls in the 4-hole.
Now, for all your teammates out there, whether it's a second baseman, shortstop, third baseman, what's the hardest throw for you to be able to handle? Is it one at your shoestring? Is it one above your head? You reaching over to your left or right? What's the hardest throw to snag that's off kilter?
I would probably say like maybe a ball from like deep shortstop 6-hole that's like kind of sinking into the base path, like on the ground. So like I got to stretch and pick it, but I'm also like where the runner's running, so he might run through me. I would say that's the most challenging.
Well,
So
maybe
just throw it at your chest.
the fear
That's
of
what we need.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe the fear of getting stepped on the bag, with those larger bags might be a little bit less of a
Yeah.
worry there for sure. Did you notice that were the bags a little bit different than what you were used to?
Yeah, they were way bigger. I liked
Really?
it. Personally, yeah. Made me feel a little bit more comfortable.
Maybe
Well,
that's
I'd
where the
imagine for
stolen
first
bases are
baseman,
going to come from,
Yeah.
I know we haven't mentioned this, but I'll go ahead and mention it. Congratulations on being invited to spring camp, spring training with the Rays. One of, I think it's up to 18 minor leaguers now from the Rays system that have gotten the invite. Just your feeling of getting that invitation and what you hope to gain out of that experience as well.
Yeah, it's obviously super exciting. I'm just kind of excited to get there and kind of watch how some of the big league guys kind of go about their days and handle their business. It's really exciting though.
Have there been any players that you've kind of pinpointed of, hey, I want to get some FaceTime with this guy or that guy, or I want to try to talk with the coaches as much as possible, or just kind of, fitting in and squeezing in as best as possible and being a good listener?
Yeah, I would probably say that last part, just kind of fitting in, asking questions when it's time to ask questions, and just listening and learning when it's time to listen and learn. As it always goes a long way. That's kind of going to be, I think, my mentality early on, at least.
When the season has ended, your name, like we said earlier, kind of became the buzz around town, and especially for Rays fans that know that there isn't really a first baseman in the major leagues, and even Eric Neander and Cash, after the exit of the Rays in the 2022 wildcard series, they mentioned we need some pop from the left-hand side. Your name has been popping up. So how, obviously you know this, but how do you stay grounded knowing, hey, I still have to do my work, even though the lane is open? Like how do you balance those two things out in your brain?
Well, I just kind of remind myself that it's, completely out of my control. All I can do is, stay healthy and play hard. Those are the only things in my control. So I just keep my head down and keep working hard. And, whenever it's time for that, it'll be time.
Okay, well, that's a
That's
pretty
it.
zen answer. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. If you're looking for a delicious treat, but you don't want all of the fat and calories, then you have to try a Built Bar. You might ask yourself, what makes Built Bar so good? Well, for starters, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. That's right, real chocolate in every single Built Bar, but they're also healthy. They only have 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, with a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't need to wait around to get a box. You can get yourself a box at either Walmart or Sam's Club. You don't have to wait around for your order from built.com. So today you can head to either your nearest Walmart today or Sam's Club, and you grab yourself a 4-bar box of cookies and cream or a 13-bar box with brownie batter. You make that choice. And when you make that choice, you're going to get something that's healthy and delicious, and that is called Built Bar. Okay, so let's get off baseball just for a little bit. What are you doing when you're not on baseball mode? I mean, okay, you go to the gym, you stretch, all that stuff, but when you're not doing baseball type activities, are you a movie buff? Or are you reading a ton of books? Are you just kind of a TV guy? Golf? Or do you play instruments? Who's Kyle Manzardo when he's not doing baseball stuff?
Yeah. So when it's nice out, I like to go fishing.
Okay.
None of that right now. It's still freezing here. So I don't know. I like going fishing. I watch a lot of movies and stuff like that. I sometimes, well, yeah, I'll play some video games too, mainly just to like hang out and chat with my friends that I don't get to see very often.
Sure.
College friends and stuff like that. Those are kind of the main three things.
And
Well, yeah.
what kind of movies do you do? Like sci-fi? What are you into?
Well, like within the last year, I just like I like Tarantino movies a lot. I like all the Tarantino movies.
Same
They're
here.
all good.
Yes. Oh, what's your favorite Tarantino movie?
It's hard to pick a favorite. They're all legendary.
Oh, come on.
I really like Reservoir Dogs, but that's not my favorite Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
Fair.
Probably Inglorious.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a really good one. I will never. Obviously, Pulp Fiction is so good, but
Yeah, Pulp
if I have
Fiction.
to give like an under a B side, I always want to say Jackie Brown. It's just
I love
so
Jackie
good.
Brown. The
A good one.
soundtrack for that is really good as well too.
It's tasty.
And I know
It's tasty.
maybe it hasn't gotten as much popularity as the others, but I really did enjoy his latest one, the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I did enjoy.
Yeah. Watched that on the plane like 2 weeks ago. Love that
Yeah.
movie.
Okay,
That's good.
I only watched it once, so I might have to give it a rewatch.
Yeah, give it another twirl there.
Yeah.
All right, you mentioned fishing. When you get called up by the Rays, you'll have plenty of opportunities. In St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay area, year-round fishing if you like. But now, video games. Is it Madden? Is it Call of Duty? What's your go-to there?
Yeah, some Call of Duty. But honestly, we were playing Fall Guys, me and my buddies from college, just because it's like so mindless. You can kind of jump into games there and just like waddle around and catch up on life.
Cool.
We play that, a lot of Call of Duty. Trying to think. Sometimes I'll jump on like MLB The Show, Diamond Dynasty, and just like get into mic chat with some of my friends.
Okay. And, well, this is obviously it hasn't happened yet, but it could happen soon. How would you feel playing MLB The Show and you're playing Kyle Manzardo? Like, have you thought about that scenario?
Well, I mean, whenever I get a card, I mean, I'll throw him in the lineup. I don't care if he's a bronze. He'll be batting third for me.
There you go. I like that. Oh man.
All right. I'd imagine that if you update the rosters, you might be on one of the minor league rosters, just the regular game.
Yeah.
You could probably call yourself up and enhance your skill set and whatnot. But put all 99s.
Everything to 100. He's like stealing like 60 bags. You're like, yeah, that's Kyle Manzardo, baby. 60 bags a year. Let's go.
Yeah. Like a typical Griffey season. All right, Ulises. Should we go ahead and move into some rapid fire questions? Some quick hitters.
Let's do it.
Kyle. All right, I'll let you start it off.
Okay, so rapid fire. Let's go, Kyle. Favorite comedian?
I just went and saw one in Arizona, but I can't remember his name. I'll just say Theo Vaughn. I can't remember the guy I just saw. Theo Vaughn.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Favorite baseball movie?
Probably Sandlot. Watched a lot.
Favorite cuisine?
I'll go with Italian food.
Pasta or pizza?
Pasta.
Yeah, that's it. Favorite trip you've ever taken?
Probably we used to go to Michigan. My grandparents have a nice little place on the lake, and we'd jet ski. They had jet skis back then, and they had a little fishing boat, and we'd go tubing and wakeboarding and stuff. So probably those trips to Michigan.
There's an old Daniel Tosh joke that he says it's impossible for anybody to be on a jet ski without smiling. Is that true?
Yeah, they're awesome.
Even if you're on the worst mood, you're on a jet ski, you're just gonna end up smiling.
Yeah.
Fair enough. If you could speak another language, which would it be?
Spanish would be pretty helpful.
Yeah, that's true.
Fair enough.
All right, so mine probably aren't as fun, but who is the best or most athletic teammate that you've had in the minor leagues besides yourself?
Most athletic teammate,
Yeah.
Mason Hour.
Mason Hour. Okay.
Yeah, no doubt.
What about the smartest, most intellectual teammate?
Most intellectual teammate? Man, that's a stumper. I mean, I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm gonna pass on that one.
Okay,
There's
pass
a lot
on
of
that
smart,
one.
There's plenty of smart.
What about the funniest teammate?
I would say Logan Driscoll.
Okay.
Friend of the pod. We've had him on the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was my roommate in BG.
Nice.
He's the man.
And why is that? Is it his one-liners, observational humor? You know,
he's quick on his feet. You know, you'll just be in conversation and he'll have like the perfect funny joke to say, and then he'll do his little trademark giggle right after.
There we go.
If you didn't laugh at the joke, then you'll laugh at his laugh, which is he's funny.
Good skill for a catcher to be quick on his feet. I also think he's also been invited to major league training. He's one of those 18 minor leaguers that are with a spring training invite. So that's really cool. You'll get to hear that giggle again.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we'll have to see if it's as good as Brett Phillips, his legendary laugh that he has.
True.
What about the toughest pitcher that you faced in the minors, if you can recall?
Toughest pitcher. Kai Bush was tough from the Trash Pandas. Man, I'm blanking this guy's name. He's Marlon Zorg. I faced him in Pensacola. Big left-handed pitcher. I think his name was like Dax.
Not Max Meyer, right?
No, I never faced him.
One of the internet sleuths out there will find him out pretty quickly. Do a quick
he was good.
search there. And then the other one I have, Ulises, before you have another question or two, just somebody's going to Idaho for the first time. Where do you recommend they go? Which city and what activity?
Summertime?
Sure, that works.
Sure, yeah. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Beautiful. Okay. You got hikes. The lake's awesome. And the downtown's super unique and cool. It's a really, really awesome place to be in the summertime.
Awesome.
Beautiful. That sounds great. I do want to ask you a little bit more baseball related stats. Mm-hmm. Who are you as a baseball player? Like, what are you listening to? Is it important for you to look at the RBI and home run totals and the average? Are you more of a WRC plus, exit velo, launch angle type of guy? Do you care about all of that? Like, what matters to you as a baseball player when you're looking at your numbers?
Yeah, I mean, I'm old fashioned, and it's not very Rays-like of me, but I've always been just a classic batting average, OBP, slugging percentage, OPS. You know, those are kind of the core four, you know, for me personally. Yeah. Just like, and I'm kind of trying to get away from that because it really isn't the full story, but just like instinctually, that's kind of what I go to whenever I'm just like looking at any player for the first time.
And what about the lexicon that's used in the clubhouse? Are most of your teammates using the slash line? Obviously, position players. Are they also looking at that, or is there a mix in the clubhouse? Like, what are the guys in the minor leagues talking about when they refer to stats?
Yeah, it depends on the guy. I would say a lot of guys are kind of going to the advanced stuff now, but yeah, I mean it kind of varies person to person.
Fair enough.
Very good.
Fair enough.
How often are you looking at your stats during the course of the season, or do you kind of look at it every day? I guess at the ballpark you're kind of seeing maybe it on the Jumbotron, but how much are you really kind of doing a deep dive?
See my stuff on the scoreboard all the time. Yeah. I don't know. I try not to. Maybe every week or so.
Okay.
Or every few days. I don't know. It depends.
It's a big screen. Like
Yeah.
how hard is it to not just look over? I mean, your
Oh, well,
pictures
I mean,
there. Your
I look at how I'm doing on the Jumbotron like every day.
Okay. Okay.
I try
Every
not.
at bat.
I always do.
Every at bat.
No, no.
Just the first one. Okay. Fair
Question.
enough.
And then we'll jump off here pretty soon. But do you have in the dugout? I don't know if it was in high A, double A as well. But do you have an iPad where you can kind of look at what your exit velocity was and your launch angle? Can you look at that after every at bat or just whenever you want?
Yeah. Well, yeah. We try not to. Well, it's kind of pitch to pitch, so like I couldn't just like go look at my at bat, but I could go like look at the last pitch. It's more so like for me at least, like whenever the pitcher's warming up, I like to like watch him warm up, and then we got like video of him on the iPad, and then the Rapsodo numbers and stuff kind of helps paint the picture of what it is going to look like when you're up there. So I kind of use the iPad more to see pitch characteristics and stuff like that.
Very good.
Are you a superstitious guy?
I'm a little stitious, as Michael said. I'm a little stitious. Nothing crazy though.
Would it be when something's going wrong that you're like, okay, I cannot wear these cleats, or is it more like everything's doing well, I am wearing this again? Like, what kind of stitious are you?
It's more like, I had Chick-fil-A for lunch yesterday. And I played well. I'm gonna go back to it today and see how it does.
Okay.
Type of thing.
And then if you're playing on a Sunday, you're like, oh crap, I can't get Chick-fil-A. So you gotta, you might have to prep. I'm gonna get like 2 or 3 meals on that Saturday or that Friday and save it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right, well, Kyle, this was an awesome conversation. Hope you enjoyed yourself to some extent, and who knows, Ulises, before the end of this year, we could be talking about Tampa Bay Rays first baseman Kyle Manzardo. There's a lot of buzz about you, man. So it could happen in 2023 for sure. So.
Yeah, we're going to be rooting for you, Kyle, for all good things 2023. Like you said, health is the most important thing, and then the numbers will come by. And we just wanted to, give you this opportunity to introduce yourself to Rays fans who've been hearing you a lot, and now they heard it from you yourself. So if you have something you want to say to the Rays fans that are pulling for you, because we know that they're really rooting for you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.